In this video, we're going to talk about quartiles, how to find the 5-number summary, and how to draw a box plot. So first we need to talk about what quartiles are, and usually we'll be given a list of data, and I'm just going to draw a box to represent a set of data. Okay, and we want to separate our data into fourths. So I could first separate it into halves, and right in the middle is where my median would be. Middle number. I would have a minimum number, which is on the end, and a maximum number on the other end. But then sometimes the median doesn't tell you very good information about the data as a whole. So I could look at my minimum and it's 0 and my maximum is 50, but then my median might be 20, and that doesn't really tell me a lot about the data that's happening all in between the minimum and median and the median and the maximum. So instead of just splitting it into two pieces, we split it into fourths. So maybe I want to find the middle point between the minimum and the median, and the middle point between the median and the maximum. And this is what we call quartiles, because now that I've split it into 4 pieces, now I have 1, 2, 3, 4. 25% of my data is going to be down here. And once I cover 25%, now I'm at my first quartile. This is known as the lower quartile, which divides the lower fourth of the data set from the upper 3/4. And then I would have 25% of my data that lies between Q1 and median. Oh, and lower quartile is what we mean by Q1. Then I have my third quartile here, which is separating the upper half of my data. So I still have 25% in each of these quartiles. So we have the middle quartile, which is actually just the median. Sometimes we'll see this referred to as Q2. And then we have our upper quartile, which is that Q3. And so here we're separating our data into fourths to try to get a better idea of the spread and variation that we have. And then we also talked about range in another video, which is the difference between the highest and the lowest data values, so the max minus the minimum. So whenever we refer to a 5-number summary in a problem, what they're wanting are all of the points that I labeled up here. So what makes up the 5 number, so I'll have 5 numbers, I'll find the minimum, I'll find the lower quartile, I will find the median, I will find the upper quartile, and then I will find the maximum. And this is what it means specifically by 5-number summary. And then to graph this, we're going to put a box plot, which shows the 5-number summary visually with a rectangular box enclosing the lower and upper quartiles. So we'll have a box similar to kind of what I drew up here. So we'll have a box like this. We'll have a line going down the middle for the median. This end is my Q1. This end is my Q3. And then for the minimum and maximum, it's actually not part of the box, kind of like I put up here. Instead, we'll have whiskers. Sometimes they call these box and whisker plots, because we have little whiskers that'll come out and reach to the maximum point and reach to the minimum point. So let's look at an example of finding all of these things. So first you want to make sure that your data is in order from least to greatest. If you have some numbers on a problem that are kind of jumbled up and are not in order from least to greatest, you need to order them first before you try to find the minimum, maximum, median, and the upper and lower quartiles. We're lucky on this problem because our data is already sorted. So we're going to have 2 different box plots for each bank. So we have Big Bank and Best Bank, and these are the waiting time in minutes that they've listed. And so let's just look at Big Bank first. So the easiest thing to pinpoint is the minimum and the maximum. So we know that 4.1 is my minimum. And then we also know that 11 is my max. And then let's find the median. So this is the exact middle number. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So it looks like 7.2 is my exact middle number. So that's my median. Then I see that I have a lower half and an upper half of my data. So I'm going to go halfway in between the minimum and the median and to find the lower quartile. So whenever I do this, I'm going to pretend like this number isn't even here. So I'm just looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers down here, and I'm going to pick the middle one, which is 5.6. Q1 is 5.6. And then when I look up here, 8.5 is my upper quartile. So let's draw a box plot for this. I just did Big Bang, so I'm going to draw a box plot down here. The minimum was at 4.1, so that I'm going to have to estimate here, maybe about right there. And then 11 is over here. Draw 2 dots for the minimum and maximum. The median is at 7.2. Again, I will estimate where that is. Q1 is 5.6, and Q3 is 8.5. So we're going to draw a box that encloses my Q1, Q3 with a line going straight through the median and then whiskers going out to the minimum and the maximum. If you want to be better about drawing these, since we estimated, it might be a good idea to actually label what you meant for these numbers to be. So 4.1, 5.6, 7.2, 8.5, and 11.0. Okay, now let's find the same information but for the best bank. I think I might use a different color, maybe green. Okay, so best bank is going to be in green. Again, I have 7.2 as my median, but this time my minimum and maximum are very different. So minimum 6.6, max is 7.8. Median is the same as last time, 7.2. And this is why we want this other information, because the median are the same, but it's obvious that their times are very different. So let's see, Q1. So I'm going to ignore that middle one, and I'm looking at the bottom half of my data. So I have 6.7. Middle of the top is 7.7. So there's my Q1, and Q3 is 7.7. So let's graph the box plot. This time best bank is up here, so I'm going to graph it further up on my space. Minimum is 6.6, so about right here. 7.8 for my maximum, which is like right there. My median is at the same place the other one was. Q1 is 6.7, which is only slightly higher than where my minimum was. Q3 is 7.7, so that's also very close. So we're seeing that all our points are really close together instead of all spread out like it was for the last one. But I can still draw a box around these three, line going through the median, and small little whiskers going out to the minimum and maximum. And it would be a little harder to draw on the numbers, but I'm going to try. 6.6, 6.7, median 7.2, 7.7, and 7.8.